All right, here we go. Welcome to our hump day call. A couple updates. We've got three. We have chosen the beach bar winners. I should have had that pulled up. um, to remind you guys, the beach bar challenge was something that we had been doing last month, where anytime you sold a beach bar, you had to ring the bar bell, and every beach bar that you sold, you got one entry. So we entered everybody in, and we chose three winners. So the winners, one is Natalie B. It's Erin's coach. I don't know how to say her last name. Berkleby, something like that. Two is Morgan Saunders, and three is Melissa Stetson. And the prizes are a $30 Amazon gift card, an Amazon ring light, and we're creating kind of like our Slay Squad Stars hoodie, but those are for diamonds. We're creating a similar Slay Squad one that we're going to do for the third prize. We are going to be doing something like that every month. This month we are doing the flash sale and then like the whole mixed berry stuff, but next month when there's no launch, we're going to be doing a different product, but also doing some prizes. So be on the lookout for that. Number two, we have a sneak peek tonight. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to join live, we are all about joining live, especially if you have people hopping on just so that they can see your face on there too. And it will be recorded. So if you have anybody that can't join tonight, totally fine, just send them the recording. We try and keep them 20 minutes or less. And then last but not least, we have been doing the flash sale. So if you're participating in that, the last day to buy anything, whether it's just Energize or just beach bars or one of our big bundles and sign up as a coach, is tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So go back to that list of all of your people that you invited and said that they were interested and follow up with them. My follow-up is going to be, hey, were you interested in snagging any of the deals that were posted on Monday? The last time to be entered to win the $50 gift card giveaway is 9 p.m. tonight. Something short and sweet, send it to everybody. And then again, where to add them to be entered is called the Slay Sale. It's just a Google Drive document that's been posted in Fit Vibes Tribe. Click on that, add your people. You're in charge of adding your own people to be entered. We're not going in and I can't see people's customers and whatnot. So add them in there. And then Ashley and I will be choosing the winner tomorrow morning. Okay, that's it. I mean, there's also a lot, of course, go to your online office, click, and then just scroll down on the dashboard, and you're going to see a whole bunch of other updates. Hydrate's out of stock. It'll be back in June 8th. So for all of that stuff, go to your online office, and you can get all of that there. So today's topic, we have Gretchen Hawley as our guest speaker, and one of her strengths lately is expanding her network in a super effective way, and also in a way that creates these connections that lead into invites and follow-ups and sign-ups. So she's going to walk us through how to expand our network, and then we're actually going to expand our network, I believe. So take it away, Gret.
Yay! Okay. So I have a specific strategy that we're going to use for this call to make it actually work for you guys versus just being something like, oh, cool, that sounds good. I'll have to remember to do that later. So if you have pen and paper or typing in your phone, I would highly suggest that. If not, come back to this call later and actually do the tasks. And I would also encourage you, even if you've been a coach for a while, to still do this, because I'm constantly changing these things I'm about to tell you based on who I'm trying to attract. So whether you're a coach on day 1 or day 501, you should do this too. So I'm going to start off with asking you guys questions, and I want you to write down your answers, and then we're going to come back to these answers at the end. So there are, how many questions? There's 4 questions, and we'll spend like a minute or so on each one. So actually think about it. So question number 1, I want you to write this down right now. This won't take as long. What do you do for work? And if you have multiple jobs, you can write down multiple jobs. It can be a full-time job, a part-time job. What is something that it can be? Stay-at-home mom, can be anything, but what do you do for work? Okay, I'm assuming you're all done with that one. Next question, what hobbies do you have? And this can be a hard question to answer um, if you feel like you don't have any hobbies. If you have hobbies, write them down right now. If you don't have hobbies, keep in mind, I see Natasha sitting outside in sun. If you like sunbathing, that can be a hobby. Like don't overthink this. It doesn't have to be, I spend 50% of my hobby time quilting. If you do those things, great. But ideas I came up with off the top of my head, quilting or sewing, that's just because I like to do that. Scrapbooking. If you like plants and have a green thumb, I do not, unfortunately, that can be a hobby. Reading can be a hobby, listening to music. So again, don't overthink it, but what hobbies do you have? And write down as many as you can think of. Ideally, the ones that you're passionate about most are best. But at this point, pregnancy, yeah, that's a hobby, sure. A 9-month hobby. That's funny. So I'll give you like 30 more seconds. Try to think of anywhere between at least 1 and 3, if not a few more. All right, for those of you that are done, next question. This is my favorite one. What guilty pleasures do you have? And it could be chocolate, it could be like because you have a sweet tooth, it could be wine, it could be staying up late or waking up early or sleeping in. Again, it doesn't have to be something that's a thing that everyone does, but like what are some guilty pleasures that you have, things that you enjoy doing? So try to come up with a couple. Try to come up with at least 3. Sam, I like that. You said gardening, pregnancy, pets, and lashes. Wow, I just looked in the chat. Guilty pleasures. I love doing nothing. Perfect. Wine, sleeping, playing Animal Crossing. I don't even know what that is. Deed, sweet tooth, sex, and booze. You do sound like a rock star. Ghost shows. That's cool. Beth also likes sex. Cheryl likes staying up too late Netflix sweets. Awesome. Murder docs. You guys are so cool. I don't watch anything like that. Okay. One that I just thought of that I want to add, and this won't be true for everyone, but is there anything you're currently trying to learn? Like I know Sam, at least for a while, is trying to learn how to shuffle. Are you trying to learn how to be a better cook? Are you on a journey of learning to do something or learning to read, or not learning, but like trying to read more? Is there anything that you're working on? Not necessarily fitness related, but just anything that you're working on. Deed failed at shuffling. I saw my coach Morgan is trying to learn how to shuffle too. Okay, music. Renovating my camper. Coley, I saw you were doing that. So cool. Hallie, you totally, in hobbies, if you didn't write down master shuffler, you need to write that down.
I am not a master shuffler at all. Like you should see the people who've been shuffling like 2 years, 3 years. I started like 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting there.
That's awesome. New recipes, becoming a better quick cooker. I like that. Easy meals. Oh, okay. So these are great. Okay, and then the last question, it should be quick and easy. Are you a mom of any kind? Or if there's, I don't think there's any guys on here, but if guys are watching, are you a dad of any kind? Are you an actual like human mom or dad? Or like, are you a cat mom? Are you a dog mom? Are you a plant mom? So that's the last question. And keep those written down somewhere. We're going to move on to, so I answered those questions, and keep them written down because we're going to come back to them, but I want to take several minutes and show you what I did with those, because this is what you're going to do with the answers that you came up with. Not that you have to, but I'm suggesting you do. So the very first thing, actually, I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Oh, Sam, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes.
On forever. All of the above. Okay, and so I'm glad, so Natasha said all of the above. Sounds like you probably have cats, dogs, and humans. If that's you, pick what you most can relate to, and I'll tell you why in a second. Share. Oh.
Do you have the option yet?
Yep, I'm just trying to find it. And I'm actually, well, hold on. I had the wrong account pulled up. Okay. And I just too want to say, there are things that I need to do to work on to be better at this as well, but what I'm doing right now has been working well, so I wanted to share it with you guys, but I am not a pro. Okay, so this is my page. So one thing on my list of what I did that is working so well for me right now is the fact not only that I'm a physical therapist, but I'm a travel physical therapist. There are so many people who are physical therapists, as well as tons of people who are PTs or going to PT school looking into being a travel physical therapist. So that is currently what I'm running with. However, we're going to choose, not right now, but we'll choose a few of those things that you wrote down to put in your bio. So for me, that is my main thing right now. However, I also was living in Boston for 9 years, Maine when I overstayed my welcome for 4 months, and then now I'm near Buffalo. So just the fact that I have that in here, I can relate to people who are living or have lived in any of those states. So my bio is super intentional. And I want to point out Deed. So I'm going to go to Deed's page, because Deed, if you haven't met her in person, oh wait, you're fit, Deed. Deed is like one of the coolest people that you'll meet. She's just has such a cool vibe. And for some reason, I never really look at my coach's pages, but for some reason, a couple weeks ago, I went to Deed's page, and Deed, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it said like former athlete, free spirit, then maybe like helping women rock any outfit, something like that. And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it totally did not do her justice for how cool of a person she is. And I would even go down to her pictures, and her pictures were awesome. Like they totally looked like free spirit, kind of hippie-like. At the time, I'll remember specifically, this is what it was. This is what I saw. And I was like, totally free spirit, out in nature, long, pretty flowy dress, another long flowy dress out in nature. So I messaged her and I was like, Deed, how are you doing with getting people following you back and responding to you? And I think she was like, okay, like not, I'd like to be doing better. And then, so I gave unsolicited advice, and I was like, girl, you got to change. You're such a cool person. Like when I think of you, I think of free spirit and hippie. So all she did, she changed, instead of helping women rock any outfit, helping free spirits, and then hippie at heart. And the reason that's so important is because, at least for me, as soon as someone follows me, I go to their page, but I don't look at their photos first. I might be weird. Maybe you guys do look at photos first, but I see, who the heck is this person? Like, why is she following me? So if I saw how many people on this call, if you raise your hand, have been a former athlete? I'm just gonna quickly scroll through. So, okay, a lot. Former athlete, while that's amazing and a huge accomplishment, it's too normal. There's too many people that no one's gonna say, and I mean this in the nicest of way, but no one's gonna say, oh, she's a former athlete, let me follow her. Whereas hippie at heart, I feel like there's gotta be a tribe of hippies, or like a tribe of people that are free spirits. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Deed, if you could explain just kind of quickly, like what did you do and how has that gone for you so far? She's on here, right? I just saw her. Oh, she's in the sun. Sam, can you unmute her? She can't
I'm trying
find.
to find her. Oh, I see her. Okay, you're unmuted, Deep.
Hey, sorry. It was just so nice out. Yeah, one day Gretchen was like, "Oh, we're working out together," and I just looked at your page and you're dancing right now, and it was so funny. And then she gave me all this advice, and I was like, "You're the best," because I had been wanting to change my bio for a while. And yeah, so for me, after I took out former athlete, because I liked having former athlete in there because I wanted to relate and I want to work with former athletes, but I never would get anyone following me back. And I was thinking it was boring following former athletes. But now when I go to follow people, first of all, anytime I have ads coming through my feed, it's usually like some sort of like hippie clothing line or like bikinis that I like that are tie-dye, or I'm into tie-dye right now. I want to do like a tie-dye tutorial even though I haven't done anything yet. But anyway, it's easy for me to go into those ads and just add people through those ads. And right away they'll come to my page and be like, oh, she like talks about being a free spirit and a hippie and whatever. And I have definitely found that people are following me back. So it's just easy to embody that because that's just like who I am, I guess. And former athlete isn't who I am anymore. So that's kind of been my experience with it so far. And every time I ask Sam for advice, she's like, okay, well, let me look at your bio. And she's like, all right, you need to embody what your bio is. And your bio talks about being confident. So you have to show that like you're living life in confidence. I'm like, okay, like what can I do today? So that's how it's going so far.
Yeah, and because so like, and I wouldn't, and I think one thing that I said to Deed was, if you don't want to attract hippies or free spirits, then don't do that. But like, that's the vibe that I get from you. And I'm just remembering as Deed was talking, one huge thing that I forgot to tell you guys to do, what we were going to do, and we'll come back to this later. You answered all those questions. What I was going to have you do next was answer all those questions, but based on your avatar. Like, what job does your avatar have? What hobbies do your avatar have? Like, so we can go through that as well, but just thinking, okay, who am I trying to attract? What job do they have? What hobbies? Are they a mom of any kind? And X, Y, and Z. So we can do that a little bit later. So Coley says she never reads bios. And that's cool too. Perfect segue to our next step. So I think bios are super, super important to put in there the person that you are trying to attract that you also have in yourself. So going back to my page, the next thing that I do is you're also posting about that. So not only do I say I'm a travel physical therapist, just happens to be good timing. My most recent post is about it's specifically about physical therapy. A lot of people are graduating in May, so a lot of physical therapists are graduating with their doctorate degree. So I just kind of gave my experience of what I've done with my degree and where it's brought me today. It's also going to be a coach invite because I do mention that I started a side hustle. So I posted about that one there. This one, again, kind of a blatant one. They never tell you how broke you'll be after medical school. In my case, it was doctorate for physical therapy school. So I'm talking about it there. I drop little hints of it all the time in my messages. Those are two obvious ones, but I wanted to show you a different coach of mine. So you'll see right away, she's super Disney. And I was having her post recently, and she wanted to make a post about goals. And she came up with this: I'm a goal setter. These are my goals. And I said, that's great, but let me go back for a second. Yeah, so in her bio, Disney obsessed. So you would be able to come to her page and immediately see, look at all of these Disney medals she has. That's at Animal Kingdom, all these Disney things. But if you post just about goals, and she's got a huge Disney tribe, they're probably not going to find that as exciting as you posting about Disney. So I had her add in here, where did it go? one of her goals, finish my 80-day workout plan. Another one, help women reach their health and fitness goals. Another one, be the best dog mom. Another one, stay at a deluxe Disney resort, Polynesian, here I come. I don't even know what that is because I'm not a Disney person. She got so many comments. Does it say? She got 109 likes and 28 comments. Most of those comments are, yes, I've stayed at a Disney resort, because I think she even asked, I'd love to know one goal you're working towards and who else loves or would love to stay at a deluxe resort. So just adding that piece of you into your post, like even if you're talking about goals, what goal are you working towards? That's about your hobby, or like that's something that you're working towards, and your post will get much more engagement and therefore people that you can reach out to afterwards. So updating your bio based on who you're trying to attract, talking about it more in your posts, in your stories. I don't think I can show stories on phone. Anyways, this is the part that I need to get better at. I'm super great at sharing my workouts each day, even sharing my shakes sometimes, but I never talk about being a physical therapist up until recently on my in my stories. And I realized I'm trying to attract physical therapists. If I'm not talking about PT, they're not going to be able to relate as much. So as of about a week ago, I started saying what I'm doing each day for my PT work. And I'm getting people to come to me in my inbox like, oh, that's cool, I didn't think of that. Or where did you go to school? Or they're just like asking me questions. So talking in your stories is huge. I'm just going to look in the chat for a second.
There was one big question that people are kind of going off of. Beth had asked, let's pull up. She said, so I've been struggling with my bio recently because I had a mentor call last week and she felt I was too limiting on my audience. I was focused on mental health and women because that's my passion, but her comment made me think, am I intentionally limiting my audience, or am I just trying to attract my people? It's been a pickle. What would you say?
That is tricky because you do want to choose something unique, but you also need to attract the masses. So it's a little bit of both. So who said that?
Beth said it.
Beth.
Her Instagram is Finding Beth.
I was just going to say. Beth. I'm just going to share my screen as I'm doing this just so you guys can see my thought process. Okay. Cancer, Libra. Oh, I'm just getting into astrology. So I'm assuming that's like sun sign, moon sign. There's something about houses. I don't know. Okay, so like that's cool because right away you need to be connecting, and whenever I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you mean by that. You need to be searching for people who are into astrology. Whether like using hashtags or locations or something, make sure you're doing that if you're not already. And then let's see, advocating for mental health warriors to move their body and gain hope. I think that's good. I think that does show who you are, but no one's going to come to your page and say, oh, she's into mental health. I am too. Let me follow her. Or let me reach out to her. Oh, or that's our mutual interest. We're both into mental health. So I do think that's good to have in there. And obviously we can only have so many characters in our feed, in our bio. So if your main focus right now is connecting with astrology people, or that whole realm, that's a huge realm, then I think your bio is fine as is. And this is just a nice little tidbit like mine. Yours is even more specific than mine, which I like. Mine just says helping busy women because I'm super busy live a healthy life and dream bigger. So in my opinion, you really need to just have one main thing of the type of person you're trying to attract, and that needs to be first. So I think it's fine. I don't think you're limiting yourself unless you're not actively trying to find people who are into sun signs and moon signs and astrology. And if I misinterpreted that, I'm so sorry. I just got into it.
I love that feedback because I'm Beth's coach and I never like even noticed it or even thought, but yeah, like she should totally do astrology. But I want to highlight something Hallie said in the chat. She said, speaking as a bipolar person, attracting people you find because of who find you because of mental health are the worst. And Gretchen and I have talked about that. Like, you really will attract what you put out there. And so if you're ready and willing to emotionally and mentally take on people who literally need help, great. But for me, I found that too, like a huge part of my journey was emotional eating. And so emotional eaters was in my bio for a year or longer. And those people truly, probably because I suffered from binge eating disorder, but they suffered from disordered eating. And like, I just couldn't take that on along with my clients and coaches and all of that. And it was just like, not my tribe. Like, yes, that's a similarity, but it's not who I want to attract. So, but some of the things that you might think of, like mental health or emotional eating or whatever it might be for you, think, but do I really want that person? If not, pick something else. And if you do, run with that.
Yeah, I don't remember what my bio used to be, but I used to attract awesome people, but everyone, they all had anxiety and or depression, and it was draining, and they would take forever to sign up. They were wishy-washy. So just because you have a job in something doesn't necessarily mean that's who you have to attract. And if you have the mental and emotional capacity for that, that is Kate and I, yeah, we're very similar. If you have the mental and emotional capacity to do that, and you want to help in multiple ways other than fitness and nutrition, because people with anxiety and depression and mental health issues do need that, then go for it. Otherwise, maybe change it up. Does that help? Okay. Deed, I'm a little nervous about the hippies because, yeah, I think I mentioned that to you. Hippies can be lazy or maybe like not ready to invest in themselves. So you do this is a trial and error. Try something out for a month and see if it works for you. If Deed finds like, I'm getting so many people to follow me back, but 0 of them are working on fitness goals, then okay, then change it up a little bit. And so that's why you made this whole list of things that you like and things that are your hobbies. Try one out and then move on if it doesn't work. Do you recommend something unique or just Do you recommend something unique, or is just a name good? I don't know what you mean by that.
So
Right
on
before
the
that, okay.
Instagram handle name, like there's like Buff Bunny or Fit Deed, right? Like people have different names, like you know, they have the name that you find them under is different from their actual name sometimes, or sometimes it's a combination. Do you recommend, like, yours is Coach, right? Coach Greta.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what do you recommend having someone like using just a plain name? Do you recommend adding some flavor in there for like the stuff that is unique to you? What do you think?
If you're a brand new coach, sure, maybe switch things up a little bit. I personally don't think it matters. No matter who follows me and no matter what their name is, I click on their name and I look at their bio. That might just be me. I actually was thinking about, no one calls me Greta anymore, not one person. So I actually was thinking about changing my name, but I've been a coach for 4.5 years now, and part of me worries, would they know that it's me? Even if I just change it to like Coach Gretchen, people don't know me as Gretchen. The people all the time, hey Greta, how are you doing? So I do worry about that for people who have been coaches for a longer time, but I don't think it needs to be something snappy and like enticing, like my name will make them come to my page. If you're following them and liking a couple of posts and maybe commenting, they're going to have 4 notifications from you. They're going to go to your page. So my dad showed up. Brandy, have a good day. I'm going to keep going. I do know that there are more questions, so I'll get to those. Okay, so first, you're going to make your bio more similar to the questions that you answered. You're going to talk about it in your posts. You're going to talk about it in your stories. And then you're going to find hashtags or locate. I'm big into hashtags. Sam does locations too. There's so many different ways that you can expand, but you're going to expand with that same category. So examples that I'm using, I'm searching for hashtag travel physical therapist or hashtag travel PT, or sometimes even hashtag travel nurse, hashtag travel occupational therapist. So just like travel whatever, because that's a whole community that follows each other. Again, I'm just trying to get into astrology. Hashtag astrology is my jam. Hashtag sun sign hashtag moon sign, I don't know, like whatever you have in your bio, that's what you need to be finding as your hashtags, or find a big account. If there's a big astrology account, or Brandy, who just hopped off, she's huge into like something with witches. And that's a whole community as well. So like make sure that whatever is in your bio, find maybe an account, a big account that is for travel physical therapists, and then go to who's following them or who's liking those posts or commenting on them. Anyone who's in there, if they go to your page and they see, oh, she's a PT too, follow, or like this post. So all of this is relating. It's not just, okay, today is my expansion day, I'm addicted. This is what I used to do. I like lip stains, and I have a photo of lip stain in my top 6 photos. I'm going to search for hashtag lip stain. No one's going to come to my page and think she's wearing bright lips. I like bright lips. I'm going to follow her. You know, like while it is cool and I still use that strategy from time to time, it's not as impactful as, oh, this is who she is. So the last thing is that the next day, so if on Mondays you expand using all these strategies, on Tuesday you go through, I think the order that I do it is I go through the people who liked my most recent post, because sometimes those people that come to your page don't follow you, but they'll like your post. So you go to your post and send them a message. I'll tell you what I send. Then you go through the people who have followed you back. Go to their bio. If they look like someone that you attracted because it says they're also into astrology, or they're also a physical therapist, or they're also whatever it is you're going for, you send this one message. If not, if it just looks like a random person, maybe because it's a friend of them, then I send a different message. Again, I'll share those with you. And then for everyone else that you didn't get in there, you click on the people that you followed, like you're following, and you send them a message. So I want to share those messages with you guys because, and this is huge. I will send, let me copy and paste it first. Hopefully the emojis. I've shared this before, so hopefully for most of you, this won't be anything new. Okay, I shared it in the chat. The message that I send to people who either like my post or follow me back, and they're specifically my jam, like they're my vibe, I can tell they followed me back because there's someone that I followed as a physical therapist, is I send this nice wordy message. And I think the reason that this works for me is because I'm the type of person where before coaching, if someone reached out to me just saying, hey, I don't know, I found you this way, nice to meet you, I probably would have ignored them. So what I like to tell them exactly who I am. So if they're my vibe, I say, hey, Amanda, or I say girl, but I don't actually say girl, I put in their name. Hey, Amanda, I wanted to say thanks for the follow and take a minute to introduce myself. I just moved from Boston to Buffalo. I have the cutest Pomapoo dog, in my opinion, named Finn. I'm a fit-ish, newly work-from-home physical therapist and accountability coach who makes tons of homemade meals, but is still obsessed with ice cream and chocolate. Haha, where are you from and what do you do? Cheers to getting to know new friends. Wordy as hell. How many of those, the questions that you just answered, can you find in yours? Like that mentions so much about me. I have a dog. I recently moved to Buffalo. I'm a physical therapist. I'm also an accountability coach. I cook my own meals, but I'm still obsessed with ice cream and chocolate. There's 6 things that people can relate to. So if I miss the boat with one, if they're not a physical therapist, but they have a dog, I get paragraphs back saying, oh my gosh, I have a dog too. His name is Walter and he's a German Shepherd. Oh, I don't know where Walter came from. Or I've had people say, oh, I'm a PT too. What do you do as an accountability coach? Bam, you're in right for that invite right away, talking about that. Or I get tons of people, oh my gosh, I'm also obsessed with ice cream and chocolate. So the point of this message is not really to introduce yourself. The point is to say, this is about me. What can you relate to? You have to be very intentional with it. It must be your next dog name. You never know. My dog name that I initially was thinking of was Pluto. I thought Pluto would be the cutest dog name, but Finn just didn't look like a Pluto. So anyways, but the point is you want people to be able to respond and say, me too. Like, yep, I like that too. Or yes, that's me too. So don't be so cut off in the sense that you're like, oh, I'm trying to think of an example. I'm a social worker. I love my dog. I live in Maine. Cool. I probably would not respond to that. So I don't know. That's the point of that. So that's what I send only to people who are my vibe. And I can tell that they are someone who followed me back because of the hashtag that I was using. I keep the same message to people who did not follow me back, but liked my post. And I just tweak it slightly. Hey, Amanda, I wanted to say thanks for liking my post and take a minute to introduce myself. Bam, the rest of it. So just change that first sentence. Doesn't matter if they don't follow you back, if they liked something, or if they're watching your stories and you go to their page and you're like, yes, I like this person, send that. The message, I can copy and paste if you want me to, but Vin Diesel. The message, if I get someone following me back or liking my post and they don't look like a physical therapist, or I cannot tell what our similarity is, I just send the message that I'm assuming everyone else sends. Hey, Chelsea, thanks so much for following me, or thanks so much for liking my post. I use this page to help me stay accountable on my own journey. Are you also working on any health or fitness goals or exercise and or nutrition goals? By the way, I used to say fitness or nutrition and people always would respond to one. As soon as I changed it to fitness and/or, they always respond to both. So that was a nice little trick for me. So when I sent this nice long wordy message to people who were not my vibe, that they just followed me or they liked my post, I get crickets. No one responds, because I went through a phase where I trialed that too. I just sent it to everyone. Didn't always work. But they will respond to the, are you also working on health or fitness goals? So that's the message I would just send them. And to everyone who you followed, but they did not follow you back, or they did not like any photos or not watching your stories. Hey, Jessica, have no idea how I stumbled on your page, but I'm absolutely loving your vibe. And then if there's something I can relate to, like, by the way, if you also have a Pomeranian, that's how I do too. I don't know. Usually I just leave it as, not sure how I stumbled on your page, but I love your vibe. That way you're at least in their inbox. Most of them heart it, or they say thanks, or they say, I like your vibe too. So you're just trying to, that way all of your expansion that you're doing is for a reason. It's not just like, I added 200 people today and it took me 2 hours and then none of them followed me back. Instead of that feeling like worthless time, reach out to them. Any questions? I know it's a ton of information. Also need to plug in my computer. One second.
I, just so you guys know, I copied all of that and I put it in the Facebook chat too, if you guys want to copy and paste it. Well, obviously it's very specific to Gretchen, so don't copy paste. Tweak it based on all of the answers that we wrote down earlier.
Yeah, and I, just so you know, I took that, I joined a power hour from the Legacy Collective once, and Leslie had one, which Leslie and I are completely separate, like we're very different people. So I took her outline, but just filled it in with things that related to me. And it took me 15 minutes. So take time. If you hit it right, it's worth it to take the 15 minutes to come up with a script.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have never sent a connection message when I like when someone follows me. Do you really think that there's a huge difference in when you do it and when you don't?
When someone follows me?
Yeah, like sending that initial like connection message when you're like expanding and whatnot, like they hit you with the follow and then you're like, oh, are you on a health and wellness journey too, or something like that?
That honestly, unless I'm not understanding your question, that blows my mind. That's always what I've done, and I can't imagine not doing it, because people message me.
Never done it.
People, that's the only way I get people in my inbox.
Huh. What do I do, Chelsea? Well, I just like connect with people. I don't know. They follow me and then like it shows in your most recent like followers, like your top 40. So I know I need to like go connect with those people. And then I get them in my inbox through Amazon, like Amazon associates, like sending them links and stuff. That's what I do. And then I just like go to their stories or something. But I'm curious about this way, to know the two different ways. So I'm kind of liking what you're saying.
I have done that before where I'll go to my store, like all of those people in stories, and I'll like comment on those. I got way fewer responses with doing that personally.
The only thing I would be weary about is like, I feel like if someone sent me that initial message, I would be like, oh, hell no. What are you trying to sell me? Like, unfollow. Like, that's what I fear from. But if you're saying it works, I'm definitely open to always trying new things.
I was fearful of that too, because before I was a coach, I never messaged anyone or would respond to a message that a random person reached out to me. Um, but I think just after sending so many and seeing like, oh, they're literally sending me paragraphs back and she doesn't even know who I am. Like, there are people out there who want to meet people on Instagram, and like that, especially if you find your vibe. Like, if it was just a random person, I probably won't hear back from them. But I'm sending so many of these that I tend to have a good ratio. But that's the trick too. You can't just send 10 out and think that you'll get a response from even 5 of them.
Awesome. Thanks for your input. I really appreciate it.
You just blew my mind. That's crazy. I mean, I've connected in ways too, but I typically only connect in that way of just responding to things once we already have a connection going. No one ever really reaches out to me and asks for links or anything. So that's awesome that people are coming to you.
I think if anything, it's just so cool to know that everybody has different processes and we're all successful, and that you can, no matter which way you decide you want to do things, you can see success. Whatever works for you, you should run with that. I love that.
Yeah.
I have a question, Britt. You obviously like talk a lot about how you do physical therapy stuff as well, and that's like a huge part of like your branding. And I, haven't really talked as much. Like I sprinkle it here and there about the fact that I am a teacher. That's like my full-time job, is being a like music and theater teacher. But I'm wondering, how do you feel that correlates with like your coaching? Because I find that when I talk more about my teaching, I tend to get a lot more questions about teaching children music and theater stuff, and I don't quite know the best way, because I feel like I could attract a lot more teachers, but I know that teachers are kind of a heavily marketed area when it comes to Beachbody stuff. So I've been trying to figure out a good balance. Do you have any recommendations for how you kind of balance saying like, I'm a physical therapist, I'm a coach? Yours seem to go a little bit more hand in hand, but if you have any suggestions, I would really appreciate it.
So that's a good question. Mine do go a little bit more hand in hand. And anyone who follows me that's a physical therapist, I invite them to coaching within the first several messages. Like, that's if they're a PT, I know they likely have a lot of student loan debt. They likely are super busy, but probably looking for a second job. I'm assuming they're like me when I first started. So I just go, and my invites are always, hey Hallie, I have absolutely no idea if you'd be interested in this or not, but I think you'd be awesome at it. Here's my coach invite. So we are never talking about fitness before. Like, we might be talking about what setting do you work in, where have you traveled to, but then it's always, this is super random, but do you have any interest in learning about online coaching? Or, this is super random, but do you have any interest in learning about my accountability group? So I'm never talking about it first. And see, my best advice, I guess, just see how that goes for you. See if there's a way that you can work in, like, if your job is stressful, you could mention early on, thank God for my workouts, or like, thank God for my coaching job. It keeps me sane, during these crazy times when I'm teaching with my kids. What subject do you teach? But you put that in there. So, like, I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I think that helps. My biggest concern is just I don't want to be devalued as a coach, because I'm also a teacher. Like, that's my biggest fear, is that like, if people are like, oh, well, your full-time job's being a teacher, so I'm not going to take you as like a motivator as seriously.
Wow, that's interesting, because I never would have ever thought of that. I wonder if that's a mental block that you have, or if that's like, I don't think that's an actual thing.
It totally.
I want to chime in quickly because there is a 6-star diamond coach, elite, 6-figure earner, also teacher, and she is not quitting her teaching job just so she can be relatable. And I just put in the chat, like, you're so relatable, be like working full time and doing this. And pretty much 99.9% of people that sign up have a full-time job or are looking for a full-time job in coaching. So just remember, like, where I'm at, being a full-time coach, people are like, I don't have the time because they think they have to put in all the time. And, you know, like moving everywhere is like, that's not even in their vision because it's like too big for them, you know? So my thing is like, there's that 6-star, and now that was like a year ago. So she's probably beyond 6-star now. But I feel personally being on the other side of it is a huge perk for all of you guys that have other jobs.
Do you remember by chance what her name is, just so I could snoop on her page and kind of see how she is balancing, like, talking about her kids versus her coaching? Because I feel like as soon as I start talking about my children, that's all anybody cares about. They're like, tell me about your kids.
I don't. I can picturing her face, but I'll think about it and get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
There's a college professor too that's the same thing. Her name is Heather Shipley. Amazing coach. She is a business management professor for the University of Auburn, and she has no plans on quitting at all. And she's really a good coach.
And just think too, you're a teacher and you wanted a part-time job. Just assume every teacher you're talking to is you, if that's who you're attracting. Like literally just picture them, that this is who you used to be. Like, what would you tell that person? And then literally say that to them. But in terms of people who need help, don't care who's helping them. They're not looking for a physical therapist or like a personal trainer. In fact, most people probably would go with just a friend. If a friend invited you to an accountability group or to coaching, you would join them. So I don't think profession has anything to do with it. I did just want to make a point. So Coley somewhere said, if I received that wordy message, I would totally ghost you. So totally cool. If that's your personality, then change it. Obviously, there's never one script that works for everyone, but figure out a much shorter script for your followers that still have those pieces where someone would respond because they relate to you. It could be a one-liner. It could be a wordy run-on sentence that's a one-liner. So tweak it to the style that you like. Because if you're like Coley and you're like, I don't need to know all that about you, then don't put all of that information about you. And then, yeah, so Lauren, you're into crystals. I smoke weed sometimes. I'm lazy. The only thing is, hold on, let me keep reading. I am lazy, but not out of pure laziness, but out of really just the love of slowing down. Okay, so slowing down would be great to put in there, and enjoying the little things. Crystals, yeah, there's a whole community out there that I am unaware of because that's not really my thing. The only thing is you do want to make sure you're not attracting people, as we talked about before, either with mental health or hippies. Like, you want to attract people who are likely to jump in and invest in themselves and see themselves as a priority versus just go with the flow. I don't need any help. I don't need anyone. So just keep that in mind too.
Okay.
I know I feel like I missed a bunch of questions early on, but I'm trying to go through.
The one that I saw Deed said is, what is your process with inviting? When it happens seamlessly or the inbox invite? And you kind of mentioned, you're like, I have no idea, like, or super random, you know, but at what point do you do that? Like a week after they followed you, a day, whenever?
I am not the best at responding to messages. It's something that I'm working on. So timeline, I'm not really going to go with timeline because that's different. But in terms of how many messages we send, if it's someone that they're not a physical therapist or we have not been talking about fitness at all, we're just talking about our dogs, I would probably send an invite to an accountability group maybe in my second or third conversation, depending on how long the conversation is. Like, if we're actually talking about how was your weekend, what did you do, then my next conversation might be, hey, would you be interested in this? But if that first one was just, sorry, I got back to you so late, it was a busy weekend, this is what I did, how about you? And then I don't respond for a couple of days, I'm not going to go in for an invite, just because I would continue that conversation. So it's a little bit different, but early on, if you're having a specific conversation and the subject changes twice, if you haven't invited yet, you need to invite next. Or if I've been doing this a lot recently, people, PTs, as well as other people have been following me back. If they just look like they have a good vibe, I just go in for an invite, for a coaching invite. And I've been having success with that. Shauna Stewart, I use forms. So some people, my coach Morgan has so much success with forms. I didn't have success with forms and have the coaching opportunity on the form. If they say yes, awesome. If they say no, I pitch it anyways. And a voice memo, but say there is 3 styles. Love that. Kelsey Johnson, medical issues sounds so whack, are super relatable. Someone I saw posted that they have 2 jobs. Absolutely. I used to have 3 jobs, and people, I will say though, it's so relatable because lots of people have a second job. However, people assume you're really busy. Even my coaches on my team would reach out to Sam and they would say, I know Gretchen's so busy, so like, can you just help me with this? And I would feel like, no, like I am busy, but I'm busy because I want to be helping you. So you can post about being busy, but it might turn some people away if you look like crazy busy. At least it did for me. Yeah, I had 3 jobs plus coaching. Coley had 4 jobs. Yeah, post about it. Did I miss anything? Kelsey, I recently started hashtagging diastasis recti because I have, and my followers grow each time. For sure, that's a huge thing post-pregnancy. Deed says, Natasha, I let them follow me. Ask if they are working with another coach or accountability group. If yes, great. Don't follow them back. If no, invite them to join your tribe. I feel like I may have missed a question.
Yeah, there's lots of like mini conversations going
Oh.
on. So to wrap up, I mean, unmute yourself now because I know that there are some valid ones that we probably missed. Is there any other questions for Gretchen on expanding or transitioning to an invite or bio or anything like that?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say that it's always really great to hear advice from you, Gretchen. You're always a very practical leader, so I really appreciate all you have offered today.
Oh, thanks, Chels.
Also, early on, people were like, go to my page, tweak my bio, like review my page. So instead of doing that, because that is, at least for me, and it's super time consuming and draining, but I would love to like have a thread in Fit Vibes Tribe where you work on it yourself, right? Like take the notes that Gretchen had us do earlier, redo your bio and come up with your script, whatever that looks like for you. And let's just start a thread and we can all not only share ours, but give feedback on like what you would change or a different idea or a different word you can use. Because I do think that there's so much value in looking at other people's just to get some ideas and also doing it yourself, you know, and coming up with that. And as always, try it. If everything that you tried today does not work for you, switch it, give it, I would say like 2 to 3 weeks, but then switch it up. Like worst case, it doesn't work. But if you're one of the coaches that you just feel stuck and you don't know what you're not doing, give it a shot. Try it because you never know who's being attracted to you.
And I also want to say, Coley, specifically, I sent this that long ass message. I sent that like 2 years ago. It was different. It wasn't as personal, but I sent a long message. I wonder if I could even find it. Like, hey, I use my page for this. This is who I am. Da da da. And 0 people responded to me. So I was super hesitant to send this one this time around, but because Leslie did it and she was getting a good response rate, I was like, okay, it's worth it to try it again. So I would even say try it. And if it doesn't work, stop doing it. But I would even say give it a shot. Make it a little bit shorter if you don't like it that long. But if it's personal and people will relate to it, you never know. Yeah, Leslie's the best. And then the last thing too, like Sam said, just try it. If you're in a place right now where you're getting good engagement and people are following you back and they are messaging you back, awesome. Maybe stay put. Like maybe don't try something new right now. But if you are looking to amp things up a little bit, try it. And the things that you should be putting in that message, as well as in your bio, are the types of people that you want to attract. So like if you look at your list and you wrote down that your job is that you work for an insurance agency, if you don't want to attract other people that work at an insurance agency, probably don't put that. Like, but it's good. That might be something you can put in the message that you send, because they might be able to understand more of what you do and get to know you better. So yeah, those are my tips. Diamond push group. Yeah, Leslie's hosting a diamond push group right now.
Oh yeah, that should have been an announcement. You guys can join through Friday. It's a $20 buy-in, and then if you lock in diamond, I think it's by July 6th. So over a month, like 6 full weeks to lock in diamond. You split the cash pot.
Which is huge. I did that, but when I was first becoming a diamond, and I earned like 100, I think it was like $150 or something.
Deed too. Deed was Deed hit diamond in a diamond push thread.
Nice, that's awesome. Kate, I don't have factory worker anywhere. Yeah, in my bio or my post, not my tribe. Yeah, perfect example. Kate doesn't want to attract the type of people that work at her job, so don't include that. You just made a whole list of things about you. It does not have to include every aspect. That was just to get your brain thinking.
I love it. This was super informative. I already started to craft the post. I'm going to say post your new IG bio in the comments below. So tweak that whenever you get a chance, and then post it there. Again, let's make this like a interactive thing where we're like giving tips on other people's stuff. And again, coach sneak peek tonight if you have people interested.
And one last thing, it's so much easier to look at someone else's page. Like, it's so easy for me to look at Deed and I'm like, Deed, you're such a cooler person than a former athlete. Like, so if you don't know, if you're like, I don't know, what are traits about me? Ask a friend in this business, or even just ask a friend, like, what are 3 things you think of when you think about me? Or what are my interests? What are my hobbies? And have your friends tell you. And then if you like it, you're like, oh, that's right. Put that in there. If you don't like it, get some new hobbies. Yeah, someone totally unbiased, doesn't know what you're going to be using this for. It's so hard to think of things yourself, I think. Okay, I don't want to feel like I could keep
Let's
talking.
do boomerang.
Yeah. Boomerang ready.
Count us down, Jack.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Awesome. Gretchen, you did amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for hopping on. When you're ready, go share what you've got in Fit Vibes Tribe and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.